Hey yo YouTube, it's your boy DanLeeFlea's back at it with another reaction video. This time to Show Me the Money Season 11, Episode 3, the new one. It was a jam-packed episode. Let's get right into it. Alright. So, first one we see is No Yoonha. So, I think I wasn't a huge fan of him coming out on Show Me the Money, but he did do well on High School Rapper 4. He got second place, right? I think he's a very technically skilled rapper, but his music personally just isn't my type. Nothing against him. I think he's very good. I just don't like his music. That's all. But I do think he has a chance of going far in the competition. I think what we do need to see from him, though, is a bit more versatility. I think that's the theme of everyone this season, is to see more than just drill rap. Because that's what a lot of these rappers are coming from. But I don't think you're going to get a lot of Show Me the Money votes if you're just doing drill every single episode. I think Cho Kwang-il was an exception because that was his thing, doing fast rap, but he at least still had some moments where he changed it up a bit, did more softer songs. But I think drill is very hard to mix. I think drill is a category, and then you need to do something else too. Like, you just have to use your technical abilities in other ways. He has good flow. I think Lil Boy Groovy Room is going to be good for him. I think they can maybe bring out a bit more aesthetics and more softer songs out of him, but we'll have to see. I'm rooting for him nonetheless. Blase. I think Blase is a step up above No Yoonha. He's a great drill rapper, and I know him probably as the face of drill rap for me from Korea, but I was really surprised by the beat choice that he came out on. It was not as hard as you'd imagine. However, I think that's the thing. Like, that's what Blase is good at. He can do drill, but he can also do a lot of slower, different beat style songs. He comes out in PH1's newest album, and he comes out on a song that really, really doesn't even fit his theme, but he kills it. And that's what I like about Blase, is that he has this versatility about him. And I think that's, like I said, drill rappers have to find that versatility. I applaud him for doing the ending acapella, sitting down at the end of the stage. I think Lil Boy's going to be a good team for him. No Yoonha, Blase. It's going to be an interesting team. Mac Daddy. I think Mac Daddy got cut short on Show Me the Money Season 9, so I'm happy to see him back. He's known for a lot of fun flows and like a serious nature. But honestly, I think he will do well this season. The issue is, I think this is probably his last season of coming out. I feel like a lot of big name rappers don't come out after more than 2-3 seasons. So I feel like, I want him to do well. I think Justice is a perfect producer for him. I imagine this more like a Season 9 Kunni Panda type, where they have that type of relationship. So we'll see. Hasan Khan. If you know me, I love this man. I want him to do well. I want him to win. There's some tough competition. Youngji, Don Malik are probably up there to win as well. But I really want him to do well. He is a demon in my eyes. Very unique. His voice sounds very, genuine. Very, very Haseong Hyun, I feel like he did sound a bit off during his stage performance, but it just sounded a bit strange to me. It seemed like everyone else was cool with it, so it could just be my ears. But I'm interested to see how Justice will take care of him. He's a very technically fast and skilled rapper too, so I'm excited for RT Justice. I'm rooting for him. Team Justice has a lot of fun players. Koini. Ko-un-i. Honestly, I really liked her. I was surprised at the Quiet and Leela Extra, actually, but she has a lot of fun, lively energy. I like that she produced her own beats. I like that she had this boom bap feel to her. I think her flow was very clean, and she played along with the beat so well, obviously because she made it. But you can't help just nod along when she raps. Like, she just has that something about her, and I think Groovy Room is probably going to be the best way to give her a lot of creativity, and also just because they've had a lot of experience on Korong Rapper, and she is 18, so it's still a bit younger in terms of coming out and Show Me the Money. Jae Kyun, or Cox Billy. I'm gonna say it again. I wasn't a fan of him in round 1, and I'm not a fan of him again round 2. I think he did well though, right? Don't get me wrong. I thought the performance was good, but I think he's crutching a lot on these things like the beat specifically and the actual ad libs and hand gestures to add to his performances. I think it's masking what his actual skills are for this competition. So I don't imagine he will go far in this season. I think this performance is really good, but because of all the extra stuff he added on, I think when put into a scenario where he has to focus strictly on his rap, he might falter a little bit. However, I want him to find success and to do well, and I think maybe that's why he took Jay Park, because he felt like someone who could relate a bit in terms of like their style. I'm honestly not sure why he chose Jay Park. I honestly thought Justice might be the best to help boost his confidence, but we'll see. Maybe Jay Park Shalom will take Jay Kyun to the next level. Lee Seo-jin. So he's a bit older than D-Ark when he came out. I think he was like 16. D-Ark was 14. He sounds older. His rap sounds good. I just think he has a very low ceiling just because he is so young. That is kind of the big thing with the young rappers, with the exception of Big Naughty. Big Naughty came out of nowhere and he flew. But he sounds good, but I don't know how much he can really show for it anymore. I think he'll learn a lot from being on the show. Maybe come back next year and see how he does then. But I don't think he will go far. And following up his friend or buddy, I think is even worse. He's not a bad rapper. He just did worse than him, which is for me very surprising that he came out or that he got a pass from The Quiet. Also kind of funny that The Quiet was StarCraft came out when The Quiet was 14, and look where we are now for this 14-year-old kid. So he's the same age as D-Ark, but I think there's a comparable difference in D-Ark's rap style than Kim Do-yoon's. I don't think he'll do well. Personally, I just think he's going to fall flat in the next episode. We probably won't hear from him after. But hopefully he'll learn a lot too and take away some lessons and just get more experience. So we're happy for him. Jambino. I used to hate Jambino. I didn't think he was that good, but seeing him in a Rising Killing verse on Dingo this year with Jeha and who was it? With Jeha and Shion. I thought Jambino was really, really good actually. I think he really found his voice, and I think he found a love for his own style of music. He does give me a lot of Weinstein vibes, but I want to do my best to separate him and Weinstein because they're two different artists, and you have to respect that. I think Jambino dresses as comfortably as he wants. He's very in his bag. He knows what he's doing. So I'm really hoping that he finds a lot of success this season. I think he's probably one of the better singer raps on this season, if not the best sing rapper on this season. So yeah, if you had to describe him one word, it would definitely be wavy. That's just the vibe I get. And I think Jay Park and Shalom are perfect for him. I hate that so much. Kim Jae-wook. So I've never heard this guy, but honestly, he gives me a lot of Swings vibes. He has a very strong boom bap style, and what I love the most about him is that he could definitely rile up a crowd. If you saw him doing a stage performance with an audience, I feel like he would get the whole crowd jumping. You have The Quiet come out. You have Leela Mars there. I feel like there's a lot of potential to have a really, really cool late game or late round stage performance from him. So I think Leela and The Quiet are actually probably the best fit for him, just because of what he's shown so far. As a newbie, as a nobody, I want him to do well. It's great. This is why Show Me Money exists, right? That's what they say in the show, and I think this is a perfect example of a rapper that can really find his place from Show Me the Money. Shinsein. So I thought he was actually going to do better last season because he was Cho Kwang-il, Shinsein, who's a better fast rapper. But honestly, he's very technically skilled. And I think maybe second to Don Malk in terms of skill, but I think he's also someone who's going to have to find some versatility in his music. I think Cho Kwang-il did that a lot last season, finding ways to make his fast rap integrate into a lot of these different beats and songs, even doing a bit slower paced raps and more meaningful songs. I think that's what Shinsein is going to have to find. I just don't know how Korea feels about fast rappers and another fast rapper potentially winning. So I personally don't think Shinsein is going to go far this season, just because of how Cho Kwang-il did last season, and there was still some people saying oh, Sins should have won. I hope he does well. I think that's why he chose Jay Park and Shalom though, which is a good decision, just to help him come out of his comfort zone and really push him to his next level. So let's see, Shinsein, Unofficial Boy. I know a lot of people like Unofficial Boy. I don't think he's bad at all, but I'm also not entirely sold on him as a performer. But Kunta and Unofficial Boy's Ring, that shit was crazy. So there's a lot of uniqueness to Unofficial Boy's sound. It's just I don't think I've seen enough of it, nor listened to him on my free time to really get a good understanding of what he's going to be like this season. I hope he does well. I hope Unofficial Boy finds confidence and can perform to his heights. I just think there's potential there that we still need to see from him. Toigo, I don't think he should have a pass. This is one of those that was like, wow, really? Come on, Jay. He reminds me a lot of 365 Lit, but I think 365 Lit's even better. I think North Face God is better than this. I don't think he'll go far. I really don't. North Face God did well with Floman and Zion T, so who knows? Maybe they can turn him into something. But I don't see the angle here. QM. So I really need to rewatch his stage just because of his actual lyrics is the most important for this episode. Obviously, I'm not fluent in Korean, nor do I say I'm really that good or competent. So actually learning to read the lyrics and see what he's trying to say in a song is going to be the most important for me. But in terms of like a technical stance, I think he's probably one of the better, or if not the best, boom bap rapper from this cast. I think, it's nice that him and Justice kind of could find some peace between them. But I'm interested to see how far he'll go in this season, especially with the team of DeQuad and Lila Mars. I think Lila Mars honestly might be better for him just because he has both sides of this boom bap and also just more creative aesthetic feel. So honestly, I'm rooting for QM. I think he probably has a good potential to mix between a lot of the different genres and show that versatility that I keep talking about this season. So let's see it, QM. Crucial Star. So he's come out, I think, season 4 and then season 9. Season 9. I don't know. I don't know. I thought he did well in this performance, but I'm interested to see what he's gonna do in the next few episodes. For me, he gives me a lot of Tabber vibes, like that, more singing rap aesthetic sort of feel. He even kind of looks a little bit like him in the face. It's I think choosing the Quiet and Lila was good for him in the long run. I just don't. There's potential here. There's potential. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to count him out yet, but I think we definitely need to see more from him in order to really gauge whether he will do well. Okay, Youngji, the girl everyone has been waiting for. I'm very surprised that so many rappers have like this respect for her. She's 21 and she's a phenomenal rapper. Don't get me wrong, I love her. I adore Youngji. I think she's fantastic. I think she's phenomenal. But I was just surprised by like how much clout she really had in the Korean rap game. Like you see Polo the Red and NSFW Yoon holding that sign. I thought it was really funny. And for me, I think her performance second round was on par with Don Malik's. I think Don Malik and Youngji really killed the stage. It's just, for me, the biggest thing about Youngji this season is going to be living up to the pressure and the expectations. I think because she comes from so much clout and because she comes from such a high regard, it's easy for her to get so much pressure on her shoulders and to really crumble when things go awry, because she's like, I should have been doing better, or I should be better by now. So I really hope she does well. I never like seeing anyone fall under pressure. I think she has a capability to get to the finals, probably even match Don Milk head to head in the finals. I was surprised that she actually chose Jay Park just because they seem so close. But I guess she does have a strong admiration for him. I thought Justice might be the better choice because he might be able to bring out something from her that she hasn't experienced yet. But maybe that comfort of Jay Park and Shalom will really help her feel grounded in the season and do better. So now that the teams have all been decided, I think I wanted to separate. Oh, it's not 3 main categories. There's 5. Sorry, rappers that I personally know well and I think they will do well. B, rappers I know, but I think they still have potential and have to prove more to it. C, rappers that I've never seen and I think have potential. Rappers I don't know and probably won't do well. And then the dark horse, someone who I think from this team will either make finals or actually end up winning the show. Obviously, disclaimer, I don't wish anyone to do poorly. I hope everyone is able to find success and reach their potential. This is just how I rank them overall in the team. So starting with, sorry, I have my notes here. So starting with team Little Boy and Groovy Room. So in no particular order, No Yunha, Blase, Paul the Red, A. In B, Violent Foreign, Kichiochi, Chillin' Homie. In C, Koini, Flicky Bang. In D, Digital Dev, Lee Junso, and Joe Telly or Joe Terry. And then my dark horse for this season, or from this team, is Paul the Red. So I think Blase and No Yuna are going to be very competitive with one another in terms of their styles, right? They're very intertwined. They both do a lot of this similar rap. So it'll be interesting to see which one goes farther. I think Blase has more seniority, and like I mentioned before, he has that diversity aspect to him. So that's probably going to carry him a bit farther in this team. Polaroid, I think, killed his first 2 rounds. Just killed it. And he's on a hot streak right now. I know they show a bit of a preview about next episode, and he doesn't do too hot. So we'll have to see. But I think Polaroid honestly has potential contender blood in him. Like, he can make it far. Now, Chillin' Homie, I was debating about putting him in A, but because of his previous issues with anxiety and such, and like just having that uneasiness, it was a bit worrisome. So I think he still needs to show that he's back on his game and that he's back to potential and he's back in top form. So I put him in B. I'm a huge fan of, let's see, Kichiochi hasn't done too hot in the past. And I'm not too familiar with his music, so I'm interested to see how he will end up. I know he has a capacity to do well. I'm just curious as to what he will bring next. While in foreign, he did well on Quote Rapper 4, and then that he was really good. He's been making a lot more music recently, but it's a lot of like, he's very similar to No Yunha in the sense that he does one style rap, and I think we need to see more from him to really assess whether he can do better. I'm a huge fan of Ko Uni. I think it's really cool that she makes her own beats and she's so young, and she's one of like 4 females on this season, so I think I'm rooting for her in that aspect. Flicky Bang, I think, is a secret killer. I think he's got the pow pow pow. He's really fun. He's just very, very, contagious to listen to, and it's hard not to vibe with Flicky Bang. Just from his one song alone, I don't think it's enough to really gauge whether he's gonna do well or not. But I think he has one of the higher ceilings in the season. Now the remaining 3, we don't really see much about or have heard from, except for like Digital Dev. And for me, as you know, I think he's very gimmicky. But who knows? I also won't count out Terry or Junso out yet. But it's just unlikely that they're going to do anything crazy or show anything that will make them, win the show. Paul the Red, amongst all of them, looks the strongest in form and probably has the best chances of going far. Next team, we have Justice and RT. So I think the theme, we'll start with the ranking. A, Mac Daddy, Ho Sung-hyun, Don Malik, Khan. B, Unofficial Boy, Los. Nobody in C. D, Isuli, Neunsu, Jo Chaehyun, Roll Dice, and Lee Seo-jin. Now, truthfully, I think Don Malik is probably one of the contenders to win the show, along with Young-ji. Maybe Ho Sung-hyun, we'll see. But I think the theme of this team is 6 experienced rappers with reputations and names with 5 no-name rappers. So the reason I put them all in D tier isn't because I don't know them, but personally, after listening to them and showing the money, I just don't think they're going to do well. Like, they just don't sound all that great to me. It's going to take a lot of these top rappers to really, mess up for the D rappers to come up. But honestly, I want them to do well, obviously. I just don't see it happening. Like, these top name rappers in A team or A tier, like, I just don't see how they're not going to be on this team later, Like, it'd be crazy to me if I saw a D tier rapper over an A tier rapper, like, in episode 6. That'd just be crazy. Now, honestly, I think this team has 2 potential winners. First and foremost is Don Malik, but also Ha. I think McDaddy has a history of crazy performances outside of Show Me the Money, so I think this might be his best season to showcase his abilities. Khan, I think, has stepped into the spotlight at a great time, just because drill rap and that style with the homies has really gone up in Korea. I'm just curious to see how he, is going to facilitate his drill and experience with RT and Justice. Unofficial Boy, like I said, I think needs to show more. I don't want to keep comparing him to our real GOAT, but I feel like he's like our real GOAT, just like a pretty face, but like no real substance there. And I want him to do well. I want Unofficial Boy to prove me wrong. Let me turn this off. Los, I hope Los does well. Unfortunately, I just don't think his style of rap and his technique is really something that's, cheered about in Korea. I don't think his style really fits what Korea likes, so that's why I don't think it's going to take him far from showing money. So we'll have to see, but honestly, I think A Team and B Team are probably going to be the rappers we see heading into episode 4 or 5, 6. So this team has similar tier rankings as Justice and RT. A, NSFW Yoon, QM, nobody in B. C, Tamini, Kim Jae-wook, Crucial Star. D, everyone else. Dark Horse, NSFW Yoon. So, unlike last team, this team has a underdog type feel. No one really has experience here, maybe except for QM, maybe Crucial Star. But aside from the 3 in C tier, all these no-name rappers, for me, have not shown anything strong or like noteworthy. So that's, I imagine this team is going to be a lot like Dynamic Duo Gecko from season 9, where they'll probably get cut out after semifinals. I think that's where Untel ended up. I think the toughest challenge for NSFW Yoon this season is going to be going away from the drill rap. I think he's a very technically skilled rapper, so I want to see him apply his rap style and skill onto different types of beats and different types of songs. I think that's going to really send him up if he's able to do so. QM, I personally don't have a lot of experience listening to QM, but I do know that he's a very strong boom bap rapper, very old school, very Palo Alto-like almost. And I think he's going to have the least amount of trouble adapting to different types of styles and genres. So, we'll see. Honestly, there's not much to this team. I think Tamini is really fun to listen to, and I hope that she'll do well. I think Kim Jae-wook has a really strong presence and really strong stage dynamic that he might, show... Sorry. He might show for it in future episodes. But I just don't think this team is very strong. I hope they prove me wrong, though. I love them. Okay. A, Lee Young-ji, Jambino. B, Shinsein. Take 1, Jaehyun. C, Justin Park. D, Toigo, Park Myung-hoon, Koo Bon-kyum, Yanu, and Hongyo. With the dark horse obviously being, or the winner potentially being Lee Young-ji, obviously. So I think I mentioned this before. Lee Young-ji has a lot of pressure to do well in this season. I think the only reason why she won't get the finals or even win is because there's a lot of pressure on her, and she's not able to meet those expectations, and she just starts getting very frustrated and upset at herself. So I think the only thing is going to be her holding herself back. Now people might be surprised by me adding Jambino here. I think Jambino is very good, and for me he's like 60% Weinstein, 40% BO. And I think he's really grown into understanding what his sound is and what his personality is like. And that's why I feel so strongly that he's going to do well this season. I really hope he does. I'm rooting for your Jambino. Shinsein, I think he's very technically skilled. Like I said, probably one of the skilled rappers along with Don Malk this season. But I think he's going to have to show that he's more than just a fast rapper, similar to how Jo Kwang-il did it last season. Take 1. He looked a bit rusty in round 2. He was very offbeat. I'm not going to put him in A tier just because he has a strong name and reputation, but I think he hasn't really done anything crazy to really put himself into the A tier. I think he still looks a bit, rusty, and he really needs to prove himself and show that his potential is still there and that he can do well as he used to do. Jaehyun, I'm still not a huge fan of. I think his round 2 is very dependent on playing around with the beats and playing around with the ad-libs and hand gestures. I'm interested to see how he can do without all that extra added fluff to his song and rap. Okay, Justin Park, he probably should be in D tier. But because he's with J Park and Shalom, he's going to make one strong banger of a song. He's going to top the charts. It's going to be super good. But after that, done. Game over. I just think he's too R&B. He's not enough rap to be on the show, and I think that's why he's not going to do well. If this was an R&B show, Justin Park would do great. It's not an R&B show. It's not an R&B show. At least Weinstein, when he did R&B a bit, he was showcasing his rap in a very strong style. So the remainder in D tier, I don't feel that there are any particular bright moments from the season so far. Maybe Hongyo proves and takes something out and shows off what he has, but we'll see. We'll have to see. A few tidbits. I'm surprised that honestly, this doesn't really matter to me. But Kim Sung-min, I'm surprised that he got cut out. He was pretty decent on Show Me the Money 8. I think if the kid Kim Min-soo came out in High School Rapper in the future, he'd probably do well. And Sleepy's rap style isn't for me. I honestly think they let him go a bit longer out of respect. But truthfully, I didn't think he was going to make it past round 2 when I first saw him. But I appreciate you, Sleepy. Thank you for all you've done. Cool Night with Song Ji-hoon, probably one of my favorite songs. Thank you for watching. Agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. I appreciate your feedback and supporting my channel. I can't wait for episode 4. It looks like a crazy episode. But let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Until next time, fighting, show me money, let's go!